Hello, good evening to you and welcome to the International Women's Day edition of News at 10 live from the News Hub here at Adisawe Kanda. I'm Natalie Fort. We're streaming live all across the world on 3news.com as well as TV3 Ghana on Facebook. TV3 is also live on DSTV channel 279. A look at the highlights this evening. The Trades Union Congress says it will seek the prosecution of employers who demand sexual favors before offering jobs to prospective female employees. Addressing a forum to mark International Women's Day, the Deputy General Secretary of the TUC, Joshua Ansah, described such behavior by employers as an affront on the Industrial and Labour Act 651. Also in the top news this evening, uneven access to care for chronic kidney diseases remains major challenge as the world marks World Kidney Day. Chronic kidney diseases affect approximately 195 million women worldwide, and experts say it is the 8th leading cause of death among women, with close to 600,000 deaths annually. However, the high cost of dialysis is killing more people faster than the disease itself. Also ahead this evening, the Court of Appeal has set aside portions of the Judgment Debt Commission report, which made unfavorable findings against Alfred Agbesi Woyome, citing a breach of the rules of natural justice. The three-member panel presided over by Justice Victor Ofoy also made an order for the findings to be expunged from the white paper dated November 18, 2015. And in business, charging of mobile phones at various lorry stations remains a viable business venture in Accra. Operators say demand is high despite reliable power supply at the markets and lorry parks. On the international front, as the world celebrates International Women's Day, the Ivorian government has updated its labor laws to stop women from doing certain jobs. The decision was revealed in a closed press conference on Wednesday, with the first reports emerging on Thursday morning. International Women's Day. You're watching News at 10 here from the News Hub. Remember, streaming live all across the world on 3news.com and TV3 Ghana on Facebook. Time for the big one this evening. Now, a 2014 Ghana Statistical Service report estimates the female labor force participation rate in Ghana is at 50.5%, but the entrepreneurial potentials of women are yet to fully be tapped. Chief Business Strategist at Inspire Africa Consult Mawina Treba, in an interview with TV3, challenged women to muster courage to put forward their ideas and follow through in growing their businesses.
Chief Business Strategist at Inspire Africa Consult, Mawina Treba, noted the creation of women entrepreneurship can play an important role in promoting growth and development. She suggested the country leverage on the unique roles of women for national development.
The attention is on solving problems. That's what entrepreneurs are there to do. And as you know, women are an integral aspect of every walk of life, and it's clear that they would have very good ideas, very interesting and innovative approaches to solving some of the development challenges we have. So it'd be exciting to see how we can draw on the experiences that women have in their unique areas of responsibility and how they apply that to supporting national development.
While women in Ghana are more likely than men to participate in informal micro to medium-sized entrepreneurial activities in Ghana, they still face significant obstacles. According to datatopics.worldbank.org, women tend to have less access to formal financial institutions and saving mechanisms.
being female doesn't preclude you from pursuing various financing options. So I know that some banks in the country have developed some special products and services to look at women in business, which is quite exciting. That demonstrates that there's an awareness that women have a meaningful contribution to make as far as business is concerned. So I expect to see more and more of such products in the financial market.
She challenged women to be bold in seeing their ideas through.
Courage to put forward their idea, sell their idea, finance the idea, and continue to allow that idea to evolve so that they can grow their business. Because women face all sorts of challenges with social discrimination, with other issues that they have as they try to progress professionally by virtue of their gender, some may see that as a challenge. But I always like to be one to encourage women that you can take that challenge and turn it into an opportunity.
The Chief Executive Officer of Charterhouse, Theresa Ayoade, underscored the relevance of mentorship.
Women supporting women. So the whole idea is that as you make it to the top, reach down and grab another lady and mentor her and bring her up as well. You know, Ghana is fast approaching the digital era, and women need to get ready.
Now let's stay on issues pertaining to women. Joining us on the phone line is the Executive Director of West Africa Civil Society Institute, Nanaya Asantewaa Afajinu. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Happy International Women's Day to you. Now, first of all, in your view, have we as a society done enough to empower women as we are celebrating women today?
Well, I think that we have made some progress, but there's still a lot that needs to be done. You can talk about the different landmark gender equality legislations that we have, the appointment of women into some high-profile public positions. Well, in that space, you could say we have some policies, some laws, supportive institutions. However, there's still a very long way to go. And I like your question because you are looking at society and how we can all contribute. I think that we need to go beyond the laws, the legislation. Of course, there are still some legislation that is needed. We don't have everything we need. There's still the spousal and property rights bill. There's still amendment of intestate succession law. There's still the affirmative action bill, the land bill. These are all different pieces of legislation that we need. But we have to go beyond the legislation to look at how the different institutions within the society can ensure that we have political, social, and economic empowerment of women. And we also have to look at how we can resource the institutions that need to support the implementation of the legislation that has been passed. So there's still a lot that needs to be done. I can give an example of the domestic violence law. For example, we have a bill, and we have a law that has been passed. We have an ally that is supposed to support the implementation of this law. But there are still major challenges. There's the absence of free medical care. There's the absence of shelters. We don't have any functioning shelter for abused women and children. The fund that has been set up is very poorly resourced. And so even though we have the legislation, we don't really see how effective it is in the long term. So these are some of the things that we need to address. And of course, the issue related to DOSU as well.
Now, you talk about many bills still being in the offing and not having actually been passed or been worked on. Do you feel like the affirmative action bill is going to have a particularly notable impact on women in the country?
Yes, I think it will, definitely. What the affirmative action bill would seek to do would be to ensure that we have more representation when it comes particularly looking in the political spaces of women and the decision-making spaces. You cannot take a decision for me if you do not know what it is that I feel, what it is that I'm going through. You may sympathize, but you may not even be able to empathize fully because you have no idea. And so even though we have men, and some of the men really have good intentions for women, they are not women. And so some of the unique experiences that women go through, we do not go through these experiences. We cannot fully women. And so we need to have more women in these decision-making spaces. And currently, with what we have, the structural challenges that we have, it makes it difficult for women to get into those spaces. And that is why you need affirmative action, to provide those opportunities for women and enable them to access those opportunities and make the contribution that is needed. And the benefit is not only for women, it's really for the whole society. And I think that is what we sometimes miss, that when we are talking about empowering women, this is not only for the benefit of women, but for the benefit of the whole society. So yes, it will make a difference. Huge positive impact.
You think it will make a difference? And I mean, I want us to round up quickly, but then we're also concerned about interventions such as LEAP, and the Common Fund and the Ministry of Gender, and these institutions actually playing their role properly to ensure that the lives of women are improved on a social front and on a governance front as well. How do you feel like such interventions are actually improving the lives of Ghanaian women?
I think that there would have to be deliberate interventions. I mean, you can talk about the Common Fund. It does talk broadly about addressing some of the developmental challenges, particularly at the district level, ensuring equal distribution of resources. But then if you want to ensure that it actually makes sense, you have to have a gender analysis, see how it affects the women and men, the different developmental challenges, and address them specifically. And I'm not sure that the different interventions are doing so in a way that would enable impact. I know that LEAP, and if you look at the statistics that we have, if you check their website, they will tell you that you have 56% of the women who are beneficiaries. I mean, that is, of course, more than half of people who are extremely poor and vulnerable. And their success stories, like the ones that they have talked about, are all women. And you see how that has changed their lives and how it's changed the lives of their whole families. So it is important to really put in the resources and the efforts to empower these women, because then you are reaching beyond just that one woman, and making a greater impact. So I think that it's important for there to be deliberate focus on empowering women, even within these different programs. And I want to talk, for example, about the One District, One Factory program that the government has been talking about, planting for food and jobs. These are areas that there must be a deliberate effort
to involve women.
To involve women, yes, and have a better focus on the women within, for example, smallholder farms.
Certainly.
How can they be a part of this process? It's important for there to be deliberate focus and action.
Grateful for your time this evening. That's Executive Director of West Africa Civil Society Institute, Nanaya Asantewaa Afajinu, bringing us that one there. It's clear that there's still a lot more to be done in terms of empowering women in our society. You're still live here on News at 10 from the News Hub at Adisa Weekend. We've got more for you shortly. Welcome back to News at 10 here from the News Hub at Adisa Weekend. Let's stay on issues relating to women this evening. Now, as the world celebrates International Women's Day, the Ivorian government has updated its labor laws to stop women from doing certain jobs that they describe as harmful. The decision was revealed in a closed press conference on Wednesday, with the first reports emerging on Thursday morning, International Women's Day. Government spokesperson Bruno Kone, the list of banned jobs includes work that exceeds the ability and physical capacity of women, or work that presents dangers which is likely to undermine the morality of women. Such jobs include working underground or in the mines. It is unclear how this ban will undermine any woman's morality. When questioned on the announcement, Mr. Kone insisted the law is about protecting women. In spite of the ban, if a woman wants to carry out any of the work on the prohibited list, they are required to contact an inspector at the Ministry of Work, conduct a survey, and check that the woman is able to do the job. Ivory Coast move came as leaders from around Africa went out of their way to praise women and their abilities on International Women's Day. Now, as we're putting the focus on women, being International Women's Day, we're also looking at women outside of Ghana and within the African continent. I'm joined on the phone lines by Safia Salmon, who works as a teacher in Ivory Coast, and she joins me now. Hello and good evening.
Good evening, madam.
Now, Safia, first of all, just so that we are clear, has this ban been fully put into law? Has it been actualized yet?
No, the law has not been actualized yet. They are still discussing about it, and I think they'll take the view of many people before putting it in practice. Mm-hmm.
But the government still has put it out there. How exactly are Ivorian women reacting to the news of the ban, especially being put out on International Women's Day? How are they reacting to this news?
Women are happy. They are receiving this news. They are very happy about that, and according to all that they say about women, they know that the government wants to protect women. They want to protect because we know that women, all that we know, women give life. They are our mothers, they are our sisters, and they are the center of the family. If we are able to take care of women, and we know that we have good society. And so they understand that the government wants to protect them. But it's not only protecting, but we know that there's also some aspect, another aspect of this law that is not actually in line with some women who want to take care of their families. If they have to do a kind of job that maybe it seems like it's men's job, but it's what they like, it's what they have chosen to do. So the government also have to see that.
Certainly,
so
Safia.
It's what I can say.
I mean, on International Women's Day, we talk about, women being equal to men and women being empowered to do jobs that men do. But at the same time, the Ivorian government is saying, let's protect these women and let's ensure that they're doing jobs that are not harmful to them. And the government spokesperson, Joseph Kone, has said that it's to protect women. However, as you just put it, some women are engaging in, say, things like mining, and are depending on it for themselves and their families. How are these women reacting to the news? Do you see it going down well with them?
These women, I think that, like mining, or for instance, we know that it's sometimes dangerous, and also maybe carrying heavy loads, women that are pregnant, and have to go for weeding in the farm, and so we can see that this type of women they agree with this law, and that protects them, and just that if the government can maybe find an alternative, because they have to take care of their family, so maybe what they can do if they are not doing this job, what can they do? So maybe I don't know, another law maybe that they can vote for this type of women for them to be able to help their families. So I'm sure that, as I said, there are two aspects. In one side, this law protects women who are maybe engaged in work that needs a lot of strength. And we know that the body of a woman is a little bit different. We know that men can carry heavy loads, even if it's difficult, but women, once you finish to take care, to take this heavy load and do this difficult work, she has also to go and take care of the family, and feed the children. And for this type of women, this law is good for them. But the government maybe might have to find an alternative, like
jobs,
work that can
Thanks so much. We're talking about the government providing alternative jobs to women. Safia Samson from Ivory Coast. Thanks for that. There. On to some other stories this evening. Government is to recruit more chartered accountants to help streamline public financial management to reduce corruption in the quest to implement the Ghana Beyond Aid policy. Now, the Deputy Minister of Finance, Abena Osei Asare, made the disclosure in the address at the 2018 induction ceremony of the Institute of Chartered Accountants in Accra.
250 chartered accountants were inducted into the accountancy profession at a ceremony to undertake courses in public financial management and risk assessment. They will also be engaged in forensic auditing and the promotion of proper corporate governance. To achieve maximum results, the Ministry of Finance plans to engage most of these chartered accountants who will be expected to assist government to execute its Ghana Beyond Aid program. Deputy Minister of Finance Abena Osei Asare implored the chartered accountants to be ready for the job.
As newly qualified accountants, commit yourselves to a Ghana Beyond Aid by imbibing the ideals and high ethical standards of the profession, good corporate governance, effective internal control, proper risk assessment, professionalism, and business ethics.
President of the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana, ICAJ, Christian Soti, implored the newly inducted accountants to support the growth of the economy.
You have a task, not only to uplift the image, but to personally develop yourselves. It's not just telling people that you are a chartered accountant and you have the qualification, but at the end of it, what can you deliver?
A council member of ICAJ, Professor Adon Frempong, underscored the role of the institute as the only regulatory body to check the practice of accountancy.
Now let's return to issues regarding women this evening, as celebrated communication strategist Mawina Treba turned newscaster on International Women's Day. For a moment, Mawina stepped in the shoes of award-winning reader Wendy Laye as the anchor from Midday News. Now, how did it feel to be in that hot seat? There's more in the following report.
It's International Women's Day, and this is a special edition of Midday Live. I am Mawina Treba.
Well, it was an all-new experience, and Mawina loved every second of it.
Is what motivated you to pursue your career even?
But hey, it wasn't all rosy for the business strategist turned news anchor. She did whisper to TV3 Entertainment that she said a little prayer anytime she was being counted down.
Well, the first thing was to pray. And the second thing was to make sure that Harriet, my producer, could hear me and I could hear her. I have an even deeper and more profound respect for the people who work in the media domain. It's not an easy job. It's exciting to welcome the ever lovely Adina to the studio.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. Happy International Women's Day.
Thank you so much, my dear. It's been wonderful listening to all these exciting stories of women doing groundbreaking things in our country.
Definitely.
What's on in entertainment?
But in all, Mawina Treba had a great time as a news anchor.
I just felt very privileged to have had the opportunity to understand better how intense it is. And I congratulate all media practitioners, but especially women, for continuing to blaze the trail and do exceptional things.
Well, she certainly did an excellent job there. Seems like it runs in the blood there with Mawina Treba. We're so grateful to each and every woman who graced our TV sets here at TV3 and also our studios, 3FM 92.7, and made International Women's Day an absolutely excellent one. And we are grateful for you supporting us as well and following the hashtag on Twitter as well on our social media pages. To every woman out there, thanks so much for being the best of yourself and continue to be so for your families and society at large. I'm Natalie Fort. From me and the entire team for News at 10, thanks so much for watching. Have a lovely evening.